Basshole Studios in Hollywood, California. You're listening to I'm an Asshole with Doug Bass. We've all been one, so let's talk about it. Now, here's your host, Doug Bass.
He's an asshole, sir.
He's an asshole.
Hey everyone, welcome to I'm a Basshole. I'm Doug Bass. Thanks for joining the podcast, assholes and bassholes. What's going on? Hope everyone's had a great week so far. It's getting hot here in LA, but the show's about to get even hotter because we have comedian Amanda Cohen on the show today. Amanda, how are you? There you are.
Great, Doug. How are you?
I'm doing well.
So great to see you again.
Great to see you as well. I know.
Is this the first human show you've done where everyone wasn't remote? Or?
No.
Oh,
We've been illegally doing human shows for a while now. But everyone's been vaccinated.
Okay.
We clean the mics. We do all that stuff.
Okay.
I mean, we started doing in-person ones, I would say, I don't know, maybe what month is it right now? June. Maybe April.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's not like you have been doing them
Yeah.
since October or something.
No.
Okay,
We did a lot of remote ones, and then
yeah.
it was just Rob and I mostly. So
Okay.
like we knew, he's been in my pandemic bubble. So
Yeah, your
like
pod. He's in your pod.
he was in my podcast.
Okay.
Yeah,
He's in your
yeah.
pod and your podcast.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
works out.
See if you can move the mic a little closer to you.
I could move closer to the mic.
There you go.
There
See,
we go.
that's-
Hey,
that-
hi,
that's
hello.
good. Yeah, there you go. That's the sweet spot right there.
Yeah.
So how you been?
I have been surviving.
Yeah?
I mean, the whole pandemic, I spent a lot of it on Zoom. I was doing a lot of Zoom for Flappers Comedy Club, like a ton. I actually got their entire open mic project, all their Zoom open mics off the ground. That was a year ago.
I have to say, I think
March.
I think you like took the cake of the Zoom comedy comedians, running shows, in shows, producing shows.
I did it all.
I was
baby.
impressed actually, because I was like, I did a couple sporadically here and there, and they were fun, but it's like a whole different animal, the Zoom show.
Zoom shows got a bad rap. There's a lot. I mean, right now there's a new divide. I mean, like comics need another divide. There's a new divide among comics. It's like those who embraced Zooms and those who hate Zooms.
Yeah.
And I can see why people would hate them. However, for a time they were all we had in LA. I mean, plenty of people in other places kept going on the road, and more power to them. But I wanted to be safe, and I wanted to do comedy, and I had a decent computer, and I kind of upped my game. I got a better cam.
Yeah.
A friend of mine, God bless her, Carmel, she sent me a ring light as a I guess as the kids say, she gifted me a ring light.
Yeah, everyone needed a ring light during
Ring lights
pandemic.
were everything.
That was the stocking stuff.
That was
for
just
the,
everybody.
For the season,
So my friend Carm helped me out with that, and I started doing them for Flappers, and then I started. Other people were bringing me in to help produce their shows, and a lot of it came about because I'd be on a Zoom show with someone who hadn't yet learned that you need one person to produce and another person to host, that it shouldn't be the same person.
No, because there's a lot of technical things going on.
A lot of technical things going on, not to mention Zoom bombers. Oh, the things I've seen.
Yeah.
I produced a show where the producer, no, I take it back, wasn't the producer, it was one of the comics, posted the Zoom link on a board with about 30,000 followers. And I have never seen so much bombing. And it was like literally 20 minutes before we could boot every bomber individually.
Really?
So, yeah. But
it seems like a lot of
it's a lot of work.
Like,
but
yeah.
I've also done production for Nowhere Comedy.
Oh, okay.
Which
I've been there before.
Yeah, Nowhere Comedy is
Ben Glebe,
amazing.
right?
Yeah. Ben Glebe,
he hired me to film the layout of the whole club. Like, I guess they made like a trailer to like send to people.
Well, it's
so
basically
I
just
did
a
the
little
camera work for that.
No kid, I've seen it. It's a tiny little studio, and it's basically in his home. Not it's like separate, but so they did some shows where somebody would be there, but a lot of shows where nobody was anywhere. That's why they were nowhere. And so I got trained to produce for them. And one amazing thing they do that I don't see anyone else do is they have an actual list of people who bought tickets.
Right.
And you don't come in the room until you've been checked on the list. So the no bombing. And if anyone does anything remotely unpleasant, like, breathes too hard into their mic and won't mute themselves after multiple friendly reminders, they get booted.
Yeah,
and
that's good.
And I've done shows where there's 6 producers because there's 300 people, 1,000 people.
Right.
That's not happening as much right now.
No, I mean the Zoom shows I did, I liked them because I thought it was good for writing for me. Like it was like, all right, I wrote a couple new things. Let me just put them out there. Maybe get some notes, try them, But it's a whole different thing. And what's interesting now is that there still are Zoom shows going on, even though live shows are back.
I am producing a Zoom show this Saturday.
So how is that? Like, are people still big fans of the Zoom show and they don't want to go to the live show? They're doing a combination of both. Is that what it is, kind of?
Well, I know some clubs are actually doing live shows and streaming those live shows. Mm-hmm. And I know also some comics aren't comfortable with that, and I can understand that. And then there are a few shows that are strictly Zoom, and there are a few people out there. I mean, I can't speak for myself, but there are people who really prefer the Zoom shows. Yeah,
I mean, I could see that, like especially Zoom open mics. Why not? I don't know.
Zoom open mics are fantastic
because you don't have to go anywhere.
You don't have to go anywhere, and I mean, and it used to be, if you wanted to perform at Flappers, you would have to fly to LA and audition at Flappers, but now you can actually audition online.
That's the one thing that's good about it. I think like people being able to take classes like at Flappers or Groundlings has been doing it, like it's
anywhere.
Like so like they don't have to come into LA to do it now or whatever, and it's
I like that.
And the classes, I guess they can offer remote classes to people, and it's they can get more revenue that way, I guess.
Well, maybe. I'm sure that's part of how they were able to open yesterday is they survived by doing remote classes, remote
So
shows.
Flappers is open now, right?
Flappers is 100% open. Dude, last night Jay Leno was there.
I saw that.
There.
That was like his first time there or something,
His first time was Saturday. It was a drop-in Saturday. But now he's properly booked there this week.
So now he's going to be performing there because the Comedy Magic Club's not open yet. So I'm assuming that was like his home club for a while.
I have no idea where he's been hiding out, but it wasn't Flappers, and now he's at Flappers, so that's pretty
cool.
swell.
I got to get back over there. I haven't been there in forever.
I'll hook you up. I can.
Thank you. Yes.
They actually have me for my months of loyal Zoom service. They're now letting me host some of the shows in the Yoo-Hoo room, which is
great.
nice. Yep.
Yeah.
Hoping to get on the main stage at some point.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean that's perfect because it's like I don't even remember last time I was over there. I mean, it definitely was before the pandemic.
Wait till you see it.
I heard that they added like a green room to the
Yoo-Hoo room has a green room now, and it is beautiful.
Where is it?
Yeah,
where did they put it?
Well, there used to be a little storefront.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I think I was in there once.
Well, they connected that storefront to the Yoo-Hoo room stage, so you can enter it from the sidewalk or from the Yoo-Hoo room.
That's good.
And because the whole thing of entering from the audience was never a good look.
No.
It was a little, I mean, it's fine for a mic, but for a show, it just, it's like, oh, look, the comedians are among us.
And then all the comics were hanging in the hallway, and then people go out to go to the bathroom.
And exactly.
Yeah, it was loud. Yeah.
Yeah. So
well, that's good.
So
good for them.
Thing,
I hope they have a busy opening.
Yep. And so now I'm trying to get other shows in other places. I got some stuff in Phoenix and Tempe coming up. I got.
What shows are those? One of those.
Let's see, July 8th, 9th, and 10th. I'm in 3 different places, which if I were smart, I would have written down so I could read to you right now. But I'm not. I can tell
look for Amanda in Tempe and Phoenix in July.
I know that on Saturday, July 10th, I believe I am at JP's.
JP's. I haven't been there.
And
I got to start getting on the road.
And I'm
more.
at Improv something.
Right.
It's a theater. On that Friday, and then on that Thursday, I am basically doing a feature set amidst a trivia show.
All right.
At a whiskey pub. I don't remember the name of it.
That's good. That's good. You're keeping busy already.
I'm trying to get out there, and
I mean, it's we've known each other since the Gauchos days. Before the Gauchos day, but Amanda and I used to run a mic / show.
Yeah, run is
called
loose
Gauchos
terms.
Comedy in Glendale, California. I think they closed, unfortunately.
No.
I mean, I looked it up on the site. It said like permanently closed, which sucks because they were, they definitely tried.
They really tried, and I mean,
it was a good place. They treated I was always like, you know what, that guy, like Kevin, his name was. I mean, he really he put money into it. He would give they would give free drinks. They had the food every now and then. Munchies for comics and stuff. I mean, there was a stage with those crazy lights that never worked properly.
There was a lot of disco lights. There's a lot of.
That was the one thing I was always like. The lighting always sucked there because it was always like.
It was always different. We would come back.
It was always different color.
And some of them would blink. And
I didn't.
Like, how do we stop it from
No one
blinking?
knew. Like the one guy was like, oh, there's codes for these things.
Codes.
Isn't there just a button that turns it white? That's all I want is a white light. That's it. I don't need all this shit.
And then the microphones would randomly disappear.
The microphones would disappear.
Or the mic stands would go away, or the stands would be there, but the little.
But
everyone,
everyone liked going there. Like it was like it was a good workout showroom. Like a couple times we had like a real crowd.
Once in a while we got humans. Yeah. But damn, the restaurant was good too.
The restaurant was good.
Never got to go and eat the meat sword.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was definitely a good perk of the place, I'd say. But I mean, rest in peace, Gauchos. I don't know. Hopefully they'll come back. We'll see what happens. I don't know. But thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
I know things are like busy now. Like this week, I know the city opened up like yesterday technically, but like I don't know. Like I've been running around like a nut. Like my dog business all of a sudden got busier. Like within 2 days.
Suddenly people can't be at home all day.
People are like dying to leave their pets alone. They're like, please take them. And
please
I'm like,
give me a minute away from my dog.
And I've noticed that like every time I'm doing the pod, I always look like shit on the podcast because I'm literally like running around all day. And then I come in here and it's like, oh my god, what a mess. Like
you look beautiful always, Doug. You've never not looked beautiful. I've never seen.
I don't know about that, but.
To me, you're always beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Well, this is the I'm a Basshole podcast, and guests do come on here and they talk about a time in their life.
Only one time?
It could be multiple times. Usually we start with one, and then we're like, that wasn't good enough. Let's see what else you got. So, a time in your life that you may have been an a-hole. It can be an isolated incident, a chunk of time in your life. Maybe you're one now, and you're dealing with it. Maybe someone thought you were one. And you were like, no, I wasn't.
Well, here's the thing. I don't know who thinks I'm an asshole. I assume many people do most of the time.
Well, this is hard for me to have you on here because I do know you for a while now, and you are like one of the nicest people in the business. Like, it's like
wow, thank you.
I'm like, Amanda, yeah, she's great. Like there's no like negative things to say about her. So it is a challenge for you to come on this show and put yourself out there. So
well, one of my heroes is Weird Al, somebody that people say there's not a bad thing to say about him. He's always sweet and wonderful, and I aspire to that. I would love to, never be an asshole to anyone, but I guarantee I've been an asshole to people. Off the top of my head, let's see. Okay, so part of this may be like growing up to be a future comedian. Like my filters have always kind of been developing. Right. And when I was a kid, I really didn't know. I didn't understand that not everybody communicated by jokes. And so I was at this one time at summer camp.
You're from the Chicago area, right? Where are you from originally?
I'm originally from Massachusetts.
Massachusetts, that's right.
Yeah.
Boston area?
Other end of the state.
Other end of the state,
yeah.
Okay, all right.
Central Mass, Western Mass.
Got it.
We'll go with Western Mass. Hampshire County, if that helps. So I went to this beautiful little summer, like a sleepaway camp, because, and I went, it was actually a co-ed camp. And the units of camp were divided by age. So there's Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3, Unit 4. And Unit 4 was all the boys. Okay. So Unit 1 was the younger girls, younger 2, like that. So I was in Unit 2. And I don't know how. I was a young teenager, I suppose.
All right.
And we were talking about, we were just, as you do, a bunch of girls talking about how they thought they looked. And of course, all girls think they're ugly. And that's just a teenage thing. Yeah. I mean, except for the crazy conceited ones are like, oh no, I've always been beautiful. So there was a girl in our cabin who, she had short curly hair, kind of like I have now. Okay. and wasn't entirely developed, shall we say.
Yeah.
And we were all talking about how we looked and how we thought we looked. And I went, well, you could probably pass for you could pass for the Section 4.
Section 4.
Group 4. Meaning like, oh yeah, you could pass for a boy.
Oh, okay. All right.
And I didn't mean it as an insult. I meant it in sort of a combination of as a joke and also, you are cute and you happen to resemble a male person.
Right.
Now, of course, now nobody genders anybody. You just don't do that. But I hardcore ungendered someone, and she was extremely upset, and I, for a minute, didn't understand why. And then someone told me, you just said she looked like a boy.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, I guess that's bad, huh? And I apologize because, to me, the whole, like, I grew up very not girly. I just never, I think the last time I wore a dress as a child was when I was like 4.
Okay.
And then I didn't again until I was like in high school and had to wear one for choir or something like that. I just, not a dressy girl, not a girly girl. So to me, if someone had said, oh yeah, you kind of look like a boy, I probably would have thought, oh, cool. Just another thing.
That's a compliment. There you go.
So I really messed up her day.
Oh,
So
man. Yeah.
and
this is a sleepaway camp.
This
So
is a
like, is it
sleepaway
all
camp.
summer long?
Oh, it was 2 weeks.
Oh, 2
and
weeks,
we're
all
living
right.
in this cabin together.
So was it
and
like an awkward
it was
interaction the rest of the
very awkward.
couple weeks?
I was like, every time I saw her, I'd be like, I'm sorry. You're looking very pretty today.
Were you ever able to redeem yourself with
no,
her?
No, neither with her nor anyone else in the cabin. It was.
Oh, and you had to stay in the cabin the whole.
Of course, I had to stay in the
man.
cabin. It was bad.
Oh, jeez. So did you just hang out with like other people outside of the cabin during?
Yeah,
the
all
day?
my friends were in other cabins. That's not, I mean,
Couldn't switch cabins.
No, nobody would. And if they switched cabins for every girl who trespassed against
That's
another
true,
girl,
yeah.
we'd all be playing musical bunks.
Right.
I mean,
it'd be a nightmare for the
'cause
counselors and admin.
this is the same camp where I was extremely singled out. This is like I was an older camper. I was like maybe 14 at the time, and I hadn't started shaving my legs as most of the tiny girls had started doing. To me, it wasn't even a thing.
Right.
And like at night, they would when I was getting into bed and taking off my clothes, they would point their flashlights at my leg and go, "Can you see that? She doesn't shave. I know. I don't know why." And it was really bad. And
Kids are horrible, right?
Oh, and it got worse. They accused me of doing some crazy thing. I forget what, but I got revenge because I told the counselors they had been smoking in the cabin.
Oh, you told them.
I told on them. They were dumping the butts.
Were you kind of like a tattletale growing up?
I
as a kid?
wasn't, but when people are putting lit cigarette butts in my laundry bag.
Oh, well, they're doing that on purpose.
Yeah, they were
Then,
doing that on purpose,
yeah.
and I'd seen it happen, and then I'm like, okay, and there, I went to a counselor, and I'm like, they're smoking in the cabin, and they're like, roughly what time do they do that? Right after lunch when nobody's in the cabin.
And then they hated you even more because did they know you told on them?
Oh, they may have hated me, but they were sent home from camp, so
Okay.
not
So you didn't
my
have to
problem anymore.
You're like, see you next summer.
Again, not my proudest moment,
Right.
but I felt I did the right thing.
Well, it's like, you're trying to defend yourself. When people start messing with you with that kind of stuff,
They were messing
it's like,
with me. Yeah, they were messing
And as
with
far
me.
as like you telling the young lady that she looks like a boy,
It was an accident.
it's an accident.
It was an accident.
And it's also like, I mean, yeah, obviously times are very different now, but it's like the term tomboy is something like I grew up with. Most people grew up with. I think like, oh, look, she's a tomboy, and like, and like I don't know, like when that I don't think that's said anymore.
No, that fell out of favor.
Right.
Because the implication being that like that boy is a specific quality that if you assign to a woman or a female, then it's not. She's not still. You can be a boy-like and still be a woman. It's gender is such a freaking spectrum right now, and you have to just respect it. And I'm okay with that. I try not to gender anybody.
Yeah.
In fact, that's actually a joke I have started doing, which
Oh,
is
nice.
I believe that any baby who had a gender reveal party and then grew up to be something different, they should get a gender repeal party.
Right. That is funny because if you think about it, it's like gender reveal parties are probably only like 4 or 5 years old. I feel like
they're very new, and in my opinion, they are disgusting.
They are.
Don't want to know what's
so it's
in
kind
your
of like
kid's
it's kind of
diaper.
interesting. It's like, all right, so when did that start? Gender reveal party. Like I don't know when it started, but it's fairly new.
Well,
several years.
The party thing is new, but I remember a
people being
store
like,
that had,
it's a boy. Like, there would
Yeah,
be
it's a boy,
cigars, you
cigar,
pass them
yeah,
out.
right.
Like, that's always been a tradition. But as
the
far
whole-
as like
the reveal,
as
it's the
far as like
reveal
having
part,
a cake with a pink cake batter and you
Yeah,
cut
or-
into it and it's like, oh, it's a girl, or
Yeah.
a balloon pops and the blue confetti pops out or whatever.
or you have bombs that
Right,
start
or nuclear
forest
bombs that
fires.
have blue smoke just to say, hey, we're
all
having
of
a boy.
that is off the deep end. But
Right.
Yeah, I think the party version of it started.
Well,
very recently.
It's
like
it's
5
odd
years
because it's
ago.
like it's another fucking party. It's like, you have a baby,
Right.
you have a baby shower, you
Yeah.
have the kid's first birthday, and then now there's a party before
Right.
before the baby
And
even
this,
arrives.
This, by the way, is after the bridal shower,
Yes.
the bachelorette
Yeah, all
party,
of it.
the wedding,
more
It's
gifts,
just,
more money.
It's
Yeah,
insane.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
am so glad.
But that is interesting because like if these gender reveal parties are say like 4 to 5 years old or whatever.
Yeah.
And like say
Some
it's-
of those kids
say,
are starting to
say
grow
it's a
up.
woman and it, and then she all of a sudden when she's 12, 13, she's like, nope, I want to be a boy. And
Dude, 5 or 6
or whatever. Yeah.
When kids are not constrained to gender roles,
Right.
They find out very early, and sometimes it is a phase, like people say,
Right.
and sometimes it's not. And what parents are slowly learning is that the healthy thing to do is to not reinforce or punish either way. Just
because like if you have that gender reveal party and now the kid is like 8 or 9 and it's like, hey, why don't we redo my gender reveal party because I'm really a boy, or
Exactly,
it's like the parents that'll be like, yeah, you're right, all right, let's do it.
I suspect that the kind of parents who did a gender reveal party to begin with are not going to be the most open to a different gender, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Like they should have the gender reveal party and it should just be both colors. It should just be like
that's-
blue and pink, and it's like, let them decide.
green.
When they're,
I'm going to
when
get
they're-
green. Figure it out.
What color does blue and pink make if you
That's
put them
purple.
together?
That's
purple. So do a
Sort of
purple.
lavender.
Do purple, and then when they're old enough, they can decide whether they're male or female or whatever.
Well, that's, I mean,
And then the whole party doesn't even make
the
any
whole
sense.
gendering of colors
Right.
is a whole nother issue because,
Yes.
around
Why
the,
is blue boy and
the-
pink girl or whatever?
around the turn of the century, like 100 years ago, not the most recent turn of
Mm-hmm.
the century, the one before that, pink was a very masculine color.
I like pink. Like I have
boys in
I have a
pink.
couple pink shirts. It's like
And I'll forgive you for that. No, I mean, I live almost exclusively in shades of blue because I like the ocean.
right.
That's just me. It has absolutely, and
What if there was a gender reveal party and it was like they pop the balloon and it's blue and everyone's like, oh boy, no, it's a girl. Like we're just saying we're gonna assume that our girl likes blue.
blue, yeah. See,
Mm-hmm.
I think that all the stuff they sell for bachelorette parties, that's how they should decorate for your gender reveal party. It should be just tits everywhere or penises everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like if you're
Because
celebrating,
your kid is going to have one of those or the
yeah.
other.
If your kid has a penis and you want to celebrate
Right.
that, don't use blue.
Or put them together
Use
because then it's maybe
penises.
penis and boot. Maybe,
You
it's like.
you don't know.
You don't know.
That's another thing. Intersex kids. That's what the
Mm-hmm.
I is in LGBTQAI is
Is it?
intersex.
Wait, did they add a letter?
They're always adding letters. Yeah. It's LGBTQAI.
LGBTQIA.
QIAI.
Oh, man, I didn't know there was a new letter now.
Yeah, the intersex is it's very rare, but when it happened, somebody they used to call it hermaphrodite.
Right. Okay. Yes.
Somebody who may be born with both
organs.
organs
Yes.
or partial both organs.
Right.
And it used to be the default was hack her up, make her a girl.
Mm-hmm.
And, without the kid's consent and without knowing all of the other factors that affect gender.
Right.
We now know that there's way more to it than just what's between
Yeah.
your legs. So these boys would grow up having been mutilated into female parts because they were born with non-standard parts. And it's a mess. It's a real mess. So
Yeah, that isn't interesting because it's like the child's not old enough to think for themselves
no,
yet, and the
and
parents
they
make a
just
decision.
assign
and
a
it's
gender, based on nothing, based on missing information.
Right.
So yeah, I've always felt really bad. I feel bad for those people, and those people. Listen to me. It's like I even feel bad saying it that way. But yeah, intersex people are now allowed in some places to just grow up and be what they're going to be.
Right.
Which
as
is
it should be.
As it should be. Yeah.
It's interesting, and it's it's going to be a constant debate like anything else in the world today, I would assume.
And I think, though, that camp incident is why I am extremely careful about misgendering. I'm like...
That's good. Well, you learned something.
I learned something.
As a child.
Yeah. And only now is it a big political issue. Like,
right.
I'm still in the habit, if I'm hosting a show, I go, ladies and gentlemen. And usually if I'm doing that, at some point I go, okay, just FYI, that is not gendering. I'm not accusing any of you of being ladies and or gentlemen. I'm just saying that is a meaningless phrase like abracadabra, ladies and gentlemen.
That is interesting when you address an audience. Yeah, like ladies and gentlemen.
There's people who say...
Because that used to be like the old circus thing. Like ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Children of all ages.
Children of all ages. But, people of all sexes or genders.
All genders,
whatever you believe in, religions.
If you're going to be...
I just say, folks, welcome to the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, it just seems like a formal way to address an audience of whatever gender makeup it happens to be.
Yeah.
And I can't, I've been saying it for 30 years. I can't get out of the habit. So once in a while I will,
Yeah, well, it's hard when you grow up with certain terms or whatever. It's like it's part of your vocabulary or whatever,
When I was in high school, I was one of, they didn't call it woke at the time. It was actually, we were called politically correct.
Okay.
So my generation invented political correctness. So don't at me with your, I hate political correct. What political correctness used to mean is, instead of using the R word, you would say mentally challenged.
Right.
That was politically
That's
correct.
interesting, is the R word.
It becomes such a joke.
The R word is like a no word now.
Yeah.
And I know people still say it. And then I've heard people say it in, I went to a mic a couple weeks ago, and the first 3 sets, people use the R word.
Well, if you use it with the accent on the first syllable, that's a clear insult.
Right.
If you're using it in the actual, mental diagnosis, it's still used.
Mentally retarded.
I believe that is still being used. You can say that. It's the other word. I don't even want to say it, and I grew up saying it.
When you say that's blank, so that's R.
Yeah. But so that
you're just saying that's something that's off. Whatever.
So when I was in high school, we were the class that really embraced that. And one of the things that we knew was that the difference between a transsexual and a transvestite, which were 2 very different concepts. And now nobody uses those words anymore.
Right.
Nobody uses those words, but they used to mean somebody who dresses as the opposite gender and somebody who wants to be the opposite gender.
Yeah.
2 different things. Transvestite, literally vest, those are your clothes. But now,
it's hard to keep up with all the changes.
I have been accused of being a TERF because I used the wrong word at some point. TERF, that's a good one.
What's TERF?
TERF. Okay, if you're a TERF, you're an asshole. A TERF is a trans excluding radical feminist.
Okay.
So people who call themselves feminists but don't include transgender women among women.
I feel like there should be a whole college course in this stuff.
Oh, there are many.
There are now.
I'm sure there are.
It's something that should probably be taught in high school, I would assume.
Gender studies should be taught in elementary school.
It should be part of health class or something.
Oh, of course. Well, so should birth control, but it rarely is.
Right.
And that's, as long as you're going to have states' rights, you're going to have different school systems teaching different things. And, there's not much we can do about that, except, in my opinion, to just be open and, discuss these things among peers and friends. And, if kids happen to be around and it comes up, don't walk on, hey, kid, you can be a girl if you want. You don't have to do that.
Yeah.
But just, if it does come up, just be honest and straightforward about it. And of course, my version of honest and straightforward is going to be different from, some Trumpers version.
Of course, yeah.
It's very complicated, and that's, this is a way too short a show for me to get into all of that.
Yeah, we could spend hours talking about it.
Just know that I have been the asshole because I have done it wrong in the past, and I strive to do it right now.
But you make yourself better by learning about that stuff.
And everyone should try to.
Of course.
I'm still up in the air with things like, okay, so if you clock a transgender person, but they're passing, that's the word that we don't use either. Like they're passing for the other gender when they are the other gender. It's, I'm tiptoeing here. Like I met a woman who I did not know used to identify as a man. I didn't know. And when I found out, what I wanted to say was, "Oh my God, you're so beautiful because you're totally a woman." And you can't say that. You just have to say, "Oh, cool."
Yeah. You gotta watch your words.
You can't even when you want to say it in a good
compliment,
way.
Yeah, you don't know if you're offending them. Yeah.
Which is got to be along the lines of when guys whistle at a girl. What? It's a compliment. It's like that was unwanted. That was not not up to you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like a lot of people pointed out that how much women loved masks because we weren't told to smile anymore.
I like that part of masks.
Legit.
Oh, I actually like that part of them. I actually am gonna miss that because like I would roll up to places. And like I have a sad face, kind of like people.
You have resting normal.
Yes,
face.
people are always like people used to say like, hey, like walking down, like, hey, why don't you smile, man? And
they would say that to you.
Yes.
As a man.
Yeah, like people, like a guy or anyone, like anyone would just because like I have sad eyes and like I guess resting normal face or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, see, if you were a woman, you'd have resting.
But like,
face,
I do have that kind of like.
You look contemplative.
I look like I'm in thought. I look like I'm, I have a lot in my head going on.
Yeah.
I'm not the person that's like, hey.
Yeah, people who walk around.
But it's
smiling.
like I used to have people say, like, even as a kid, like, hey, why don't you smile? Why don't you smile? And it's like.
That's so freaking.
And I actually, when I would wear the masks, I'd be like, wow, this is a part of me that I don't have to like explain or like. I felt comfortable or like even like talking to people like at these clubs or whatever. Like, you'd have people and it's like like I don't have to be like, yeah. I'm just like, and I'm just hiding half my face, half my emotions are hidden, which I prefer actually. So I'm going to miss that part.
I only have to pretend with half my face.
Yeah, I have my eyes. I can be like really expressive in my eyes. Like, oh yeah, that was funny.
Yeah,
okay,
I love that you can. There's a word for it. Smize.
Yeah,
smiling with your eyes. Like, I can do that without actually smiling.
Oh my God,
like, okay, you can't see my mouth. I'm going to smile.
Yeah, and it takes up like half the energy.
Doesn't it look like I'm smiling?
It does. Yeah. You really didn't know what people were thinking, like when you would talk to them.
Right, and sometimes that's a good thing.
I liked it. I liked it a lot. I don't know.
Oh,
I might just wear it like around these clubs just to like throw people off now.
That's the thing. Well, I'm thrown off because the servers are still wearing them in clubs,
Yeah.
and I feel like I should be protecting. Like I'll wear one at the supermarket. I'll wear one, it's shopping or whatever.
The servers should actually like wear them over their eyes. I feel like because like when they have like a problem customer, like they can just roll their eyes now. And just
they should be wearing dark glasses.
That'd be just cover their entire
face.
face.
Like yes, I'll get you more ranch.
Yeah, God damn it, this person. Yeah.
So do you want to hear about a much worse?
Yes. So let's move on. We
Okay.
got your camp story.
That was my camp
Let's hear
story.
as Amanda.
There's one I did as okay. Well, here's general asshole behavior that you and I engaged in together.
Okay.
Which is why I feel comfortable sharing it with you. Don't you think that when we were watching the open mics at Gauchos and you would see people who you never are gonna book for anything, even if it's unpaid for anything?
Yes.
You never tell them that.
No.
We never told anyone, yeah, we can't use you. You're horrible. Just don't come. Don't waste our time.
I mean, I think we told people like sign up and we book from the mic,
Right,
whatever,
we definitely did that. And I just want to tell all the open mic people out there that just because they don't say they don't like you doesn't mean they're gonna book you.
Yeah.
But the best way to never get booked is to beg to be booked and remind us how many times you did the open mic.
Right.
It doesn't work. So, but that's I think
I think
a necessary asshole.
Well, and it's interesting when you run shows, you produce shows like you and I have done. You get people, hitting you up for time or slots or whatever. And, we all do it. We send our link. We send, here's what I've done, blah, blah, blah. And that's what you got to do. But it's like I usually tell people like, all right, come to the show. If I don't know you, hang out,
Which, by the way, when it's a free show, is easy to do.
It's easy to do.
I've been to a lot of shows where I paid to come support the show, and now I'm like, okay.
Buy a drink, hang out, meet the producers.
Tip the wait staff.
Yeah. And then you will get booked at some point, and it's like, that's that. And then it's like people are like, well, I've been doing this for 20 years. I've been on this show. I'm like, okay, great. But like, I don't know who you are.
Yeah.
So my audience is not going to know who you are. And like, are you going to promote the show and maybe get like 5, and I'm not talking about bringer comics. I'm just saying promote it. And like maybe 1 or 2 of your fans will come out.
Yeah.
Because then there's those people that don't do that and they still want to go up, and it's like, all right, So that's the difference, I think.
I had a hard time saying no, so we would end up with shows that went on till midnight because I just kept booking. I was like, we can fit in one more person.
Right.
But I remember one person in particular who we let them do the mic many times, because it's an open mic.
I think I know who you're talking about.
And one time, they were like, and I'm specifically non-gendering. They were like, hey, we really want to do the show, and we were like, you know what, send us a video. And it turned out they took a video of themselves at our mic where we were watching.
Yeah, I think I remember
And
this.
then they went home and added themselves laughing on the video.
I know who you're talking
and
about.
sent us the video.
I don't remember the name.
I don't care to remember the name, but it was an honest effort. I'll give them that.
Wasn't there magic involved?
I'm not saying anything.
All right. That's what I'm thinking. I don't remember the exact thing, but I do remember that.
Yeah. So that's my ongoing asshole.
That's the other thing. It's like some of those acts are entertaining for other reasons. And it's like, do we do like a worst of show or like a gong thing?
Never quite did that.
No, but like that, those kind of things, that's what that would be appropriate for, I would think, But
I wouldn't have put any audience.
I've even thought of having some of those kind of people like on this show, but then it becomes then I am an asshole.
Then you're the asshole for.
But I'm also
like,
I'm also like though, but that. It is funny in a way, and they have to kind of know that.
Well,
and it's like
if they're not laughing with you, or if you're not laughing with them and you're laughing at them, it's very different.
It's very different,
fun.
but it's like they have to know. I don't know. I think there's room for that, and people have to know that that's the kind of like what it is, and they have to, even coming on the show, they should kind of know like, look, we're gonna make fun of you a little bit, but like we're good sports, whatever. You will get exposure, but it's like
and
it is what it is.
Some chips and dip is
exactly.
So
because you need those. You need the as painful it is to watch some of those. Like you need those crazy characters in this business for some reason. I don't know exactly what it is. Whether it's like a show like this where you have someone pop on and because I've had people like hit me up like, oh, I want to come on this show and talk about this, and it's like I'm like, this sounds funny and interesting and weird. I'm like, do I want to sit here for 45 minutes with that person in my studio? No. Will I take a call from him for 5 minutes? Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like that adds like a whole like curveball, and like they're nuts clearly, and we're gonna make fun of it, and it's still gonna be funny, and then I can hang up on them. So it's like that's the difference, I think.
Okay, I am now going to tell you a story I have never told anybody.
All right.
About probably the worst thing I've done as a human ever in my life.
All right.
Okay. If anyone is listening and remembers this, just come and hit me. I deserve it.
Boy.
This is the worst thing I have ever done. I was in college, and we had a statistics professor who was really rough. Like, at the time, it was like the first 2 years of college where you're not even allowed to declare a major. And I knew I wanted to be a writing major. I wasn't going to need statistics. I mean, I learned a lot that I still use, like how to make charts and things.
Yeah.
But he would just read from the book that we had just read, about the statistics. He was just lazy and, droning and boring and slow, like he was working at the speed of the slowest kids in the class.
Right.
So we were just like, oh my God, it was so freaking boring. And, well, he was in a wheelchair, and our class was on the second floor of the building. And I didn't want to go to class one day. So I had a friend who could pass for a maintenance guy. Tool belt and everything, and it was me and another friend who conspired to get this guy to put a sign on the elevator that said out of order.
Oh man,
I'm not proud of that.
And how does this guy get down now? Is there one of those ramps?
He could not get up to the the room. So a bunch of the students we were all waiting outside the room, and he didn't make it. I think there's like the 10-minute rule or something.
And everyone leaves. Yeah.
And then he's like 15 minutes later, he sent up a student who said, "Oh, they moved the class to the downstairs, to the first floor."
Right.
So we ended up having class after all, just slightly delayed, and he apologized. And the whole time I'm like, I am the worst. Yeah, I mean, I knew immediately that I'd done something very bad.
Yeah.
So that was probably, I like to think that was the most asshole thing I've ever done, and that I will never top
How old
that.
were you when you did that?
Oh, like 19,
Well,
17, 18.
I think those are like prime ages
asshole years, okay.
for pranks, doing shit. Like I've done stuff like that
but
too.
that
I was so rude to
bad.
teachers like all the time. Like, and then at some point you just snap out of it and you're like, no, that was horrible.
But I literally knew that day
Right.
that I'd done something really bad. I had taken advantage of a guy in a bad situation, and
But the teacher is also
bad.
reading from the book.
he was reading from the goddamn.
That is interesting though, because if I was a teacher, I would actually probably do that. But I would also like tell the kid like, do not buy the book. Like I would have the only copy, and then I would just read from the book and like take notes.
Yeah, no, we had all bought. This is one of those college things. You spend $400 on books. They'll buy them back, and at the end of the year, it's like
$10.
Yeah, we'll buy this for $4.
Right, exactly.
I still somewhere have these giant book of Shakespeare because they made us buy this $180.
I think I have
book,
a couple college books still.
and they wouldn't buy it back, and we're like, what did they update Shakespeare? How do you not buy back Shakespeare?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Just,
he's released some new plays.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the new sonnets are in this one.
It's
this one has uncut material.
It's like Tupac. He keeps coming out with stuff every year.
Just die already.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That is. Yeah, I mean that's a tough one.
See, here's the thing. I don't drink, and I don't do the drugs.
Are you you're sober?
And I didn't get sober. I just never started.
You just never started.
I never had any interest in those things. Like, I had friends who got drunk in high school. I wasn't invited to those parties, and I wasn't interested.
You never really
any
were
of that
tempted.
stuff.
No.
Never tempted at all.
That's
not
good. As a
even
comic, that's great.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's actually how Dana Gould got his start. Is he was the kid in Boston who had a car and didn't smoke or drink, so
Right.
he didn't have to share your drugs or
Right.
any, and he could be your designated driver. He got a lot of gigs that way.
Sure.
Smart. Unfortunately, I missed that boat, but yeah, I don't smoke or drink, and so I probably missed out on a lot of potential asshole moments that I think might have happened had I been screwed up. But,
Right.
I'm not going to say I haven't been tempted to be an asshole more often, but yeah, just
I think with age,
I like to be nice. I want to be nice. I want to make friends.
You are nice, and you have a lot of friends. I mean, I think with age, it becomes apparent, you can be an asshole of a different nature almost. It's just being more assertive or more having the confidence to be like, no, I'm not doing that, or I'm running this show. This is how it is. Blah blah blah. If you don't like it, get the fuck out. It's more like matter. It's more like matter of fact.
It's hard.
It's a matter of fact asshole. It's like I don't have time for bullshit.
Well,
these are the rules.
Whatever. I used to, before my depression was properly medicated, I used to get really angry at things like, let's say my flight was delayed. I would yell at the person. I would be a Karen. I would just well, I paid this much. I want to get on that flight. I would be that person. Right. And then one day, I don't know if it was the drugs or what, but I realized that doesn't get anybody anywhere.
No.
Getting angry and being an asshole doesn't help anybody.
It doesn't.
If anything, it's going to make them less inclined to help you.
You might feel better yelling.
It's you may vent a little, but it's
you almost should meditate and then take that in and then figure it out.
Exactly. And in doing the opposite, it has had the opposite effect. I used to, so I have some balloon animals. I know a few balloon animal tricks from.
That's right. I remember you were doing that. Yeah.
Just a little, not great. Among balloon animal people, I'm what's known as a dog hat sword person.
Oh, I should have had you bring the balloons in.
No,
you could have done one on the show.
That's balloon animal code for I don't do balloon animals. Is dog hat sword. I can do dogs, hats, and sword. But I used to travel with. I still do with balloons in hidden in part of my luggage. So if there's a kid having a bad day, I will go to the grown up and say, hey, I am a clown undercover. Can I make your kid a balloon animal? And sometimes they were just like dying for 5 minutes of quiet. We'd be like, go for it.
And they appreciate that.
And I just, little eye contact, make a balloon, little doggy, and just 5 minutes of quiet, or 4 minutes of quiet, whatever. And the grown-ups really appreciated that. And one time I did that on a flight that was overbooked. And I had volunteered to, stay back and, get another flight and get the $200 or whatever. But they saw me being nice to kids. Mm-hmm. And got me on the flight. Oh. They kind of came over and said, "You're traveling alone, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." It's like, "We have a seat." I'm like,
"That's great.
Well, thank you." So it's like literally the opposite. Don't be an asshole.
Yeah,
people are nice.
People will notice that kind of stuff. Absolutely.
It's so I don't see there's no benefit in generally being an asshole. I mean, special occasions. Oh yeah.
Of course, yeah. But you can reserve times to be an asshole, but it's better not to be one for sure. I mean, it's at the end of the day, we're all trying to do what we want to do, live this life, get through it.
This podcast celebrates the moments when being an asshole might have been the right choice.
It does. It's therapeutic as well as comedic at times.
But it's also confessional. It's like, I know it was the wrong choice for me, but I know that I learned from it, so that is a good thing.
Right, exactly.
You ever any unredeemable assholes on the show?
We've had. My friend Willie is. He has the best asshole story so far. No one's beaten him yet. So we'll see. Yeah. We're still a young show. So as things open up, we're going to try to do more episodes and get more crazier people on. We really need the people, we have a lot of comedians on the show, but we need those people that like don't give a fuck, like that are just, they're not performers. Yes, we need
cops.
I need more real people that like have nothing to prove. They're not trying to get shows. They're not having their name in the lights.
Can you blur my picture? Like, could you blur the picture? Could you get someone to really confess to shit?
Yeah, I probably could. Yeah. I mean, or I could just not do the video. I could just do the audio version of it.
Or you could light it from behind and be a silhouette and change
their voice.
Like, well, then I went into the store and I just took whatever I wanted because
That's going to be the next step.
That'll be awesome.
That's when we get crazier people on, that kind of thing. Well, Amanda, you really put yourself out there today. We learned a lot. We learned that if you go to camp with Amanda, if anyone ends up going to camp with Amanda in the future, maybe this summer, she may tell on you if you are smoking, because don't put your cigarettes out in her clothes or
freaking cigarettes in my laundry.
Because if you do that, she's going to tell on you, and then you're going to be kicked out of camp.
Smoking in my cabin. The cabin is made of kindling.
Right. We learned that back in the I don't know what year that was, but
we're going to call it the 80s.
Back in the 80s, if you had short hair and kind of looked like a boy, she may have called you a boy, looking like a boy.
And not in a bad way.
Not in a bad way. It was a compliment.
Never an insult.
But that would never happen today because that doesn't exist anymore. So we learned that. We learned that she may put an out of order sign on an elevator to
do that again.
Throw your day off, especially if you're in a wheelchair.
I would never. I did it once in my life.
Right.
I would never do it again. It was
never
evil.
Again.
It was
this is just
evil.
This is just the recap. The recap of your assholeness.
I know, but for anyone tuning in late, I want them to know this was
go back and listen to the whole thing.
A wise choice.
Yeah. Well, the way we end this show is you state your name and say that you're an asshole. So the floor is yours.
My name is Amanda Cohen, and I am an asshole.
There you go, folks. Amanda Cohen, and she's an asshole. She's really not. She's one of the nicest people out there, but she's a basshole today. But she came on the show, redeemed herself, so she can go in peace now, because she has been cleansed by the basshole priest of me.
Bathed in the blood of Doug.
Yeah, exactly. This has become like a religious cult ceremony now for people that have come on, which is another whole nother thing. All right, and you can check out Amanda. Make sure you subscribe to Amanda's Instagram, Amanda Cohen 27 at Amanda Cohen 27.
That's my Insta and my Twitter.
What is the 27? What is that? Is that your favorite number?
That is a Weird Al reference.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, I'm a big fan.
Right.
He's a big influence. And 27, if you're a Weird Al fan, you know that's kind of his symbolic number.
Right.
Because it's a funny number, and he used it in a couple of songs, and people pointed out, it's like, wow, you use 27 a lot. And then he started putting it in on purpose as a kind of a hello to fans.
Right.
And anytime he can sticking a 27 somewhere. Except for one song where he mentioned 26 and a half, which was just funny as hell. That was for us.
Right.
So yeah, 27 is my Weird Al number.
That's cool. I like that. Make sure you check out Amanda at Flappers Comedy Club. She's going to be hosting shows in the Yoo-Hoo Room. They are open now, coming up, so check that out. And you have some other shows coming up as well in Phoenix, Tempe, but you don't know.
I got stuff coming up in
exact
Phoenix.
dates.
I got stuff coming up in New England, and right now that's it. And if you go to my website, amandacomedy.com.
There you go.
You can find out where I'm going to be and when the best place to rob my house is. I feel bad for comics who live alone because we all have to say when we're not going to be
know,
there.
but
That, by the way, okay, that was another time I was an asshole. Real brief.
All right.
I was dodging a subpoena.
Oh, really?
I was subpoenaed as a witness for something, and they got me at a club because I literally promoted I was going to be there.
They'll find you for sure.
Guy
yeah.
walks up to me and says, "Amanda Cohen." I'm like, "Yes." He goes, "You're served."
Oh, my God. He went all the way to the club?
Well, yeah, it was Chicago. It was
Oh,
small.
all right. That is funny. That is a good place to serve someone now that I think about it.
You got me.
Yeah, keeping that in my mind if I have to serve someone at some point. Yeah, there you go. All right, well, make sure you follow Amanda. She's really funny. She's got a lot of good shows coming up. She's at Flappers, Zoom shows. She's still doing them.
Still
so if you
doing
live
them.
overseas, you could still see her.
That's right. You can see me at 3 a.m. your time.
Exactly. She's always around. She's always doing a comedy show. You have like so many shows you do.
It's
you,
funny.
you
I
inspire
feel like,
me.
I
by
feel like
doing
I
that.
do none, but thank you.
You're always on a show. I see you posting all the time. I'm doing this. I'm doing that.
Well, I have this thing where, like, once I get booked somewhere, then that clearly wasn't an important club because they booked me. So then it's like there's always the next club I have to get booked at. Yeah.
Right. Well, it's like you gotta show up and meet the people and do all that stuff.
I'm trying.
It's all part of it. You're doing great.
Come say hi.
You're doing great. Yeah, exactly. Well, it was good seeing you.
You too, Doug.
I know. We've run into each other a couple times in the last couple of weeks, but yeah, it's been good sitting down, catching up, as I would say.
Yes.
All right, and I have a show tonight at the Comedy Chateau at 8 p.m.
no kidding.
If anyone wants to go, if anyone's actually listening, there's 3 people listening. Cool.
All right. Hey, 3 of you.
Hit me up for tickets if anyone wants to go. It's in North Hollywood. I guess that's it.
All right.
Until next time. Remember, folks, don't be a basshole or an asshole, but if you are, talk about it and laugh about it. We'll see you next time. Subscribe to the podcast at A Whole Podcast. Just do it, all right? And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to I'm an Asshole with Doug Bass. Please subscribe to us on all streaming platforms. Have a good asshole story? Email us at doug@dougbasscomedy.com. We'll see you next time.